Welcome to Her Lights, your home for women's sports coverage. I'm your host, Erin Foley, a stand-up comic, TV writer, and most important, an obsessed sports fan. I break down the best games, highlight the best stories, and interview the best from the world of women's sports. So put on your jerseys, stretch out your hammies, and let's do this. Hello, Her Lighters. It's Erin Foley back in the booth talking women's sports. So good to be back with all of you. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, October 20th. Huge weekend in women's sports. We're going to start with soccer. Actually, we're going to start with this. I would just like to say a huge thank you to the production team behind Her Lights, Jess and Justin at Green Olive Creative. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see what's happening behind me, and I will talk you through it if you're watching or you're listening to this on the audio podcast form. I painted the back wall of my guest bedroom, which is now my office, and Jess and Justin built this background. I have a framed picture, one of my favorite photos of Serena Williams. There's a Her Lights sign that glows. There's a couple of shelves with like books and hats that I have to add more stuff to, but it's like a full... We've got a little, whatever they call it, like the box that you put underneath the microphone that says Her Lights. I'm sure there's a word for it. But anyway, so when I'm looking at myself, when I'm recording this on Zoom, there's an entire, women's sports podcast background. And I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled because it just seems, it just makes you feel like more of a professional. Am I a professional? To be determined. Well, most of the time. But yeah, it makes me feel like I'm in the game, like I'm in the women's sports game. And what a thrill. So just a huge shout out to Jess and Justin at Green Olive Creative. They're amazing people. And they built this whole background. And, I'm a lesbian, but I didn't get that skill for building stuff, Like if I have to put up a shelf, I'm like, oh God, like I'll start with a YouTube video, then I'll immediately call my neighbor, Dimitri. He lives downstairs. He is a gay man, but he has a ton of skills. Like he's a handy gay boy, and I am a non-handy lesbo. But I did get the stereotypical sports trait. So that's what I'm bringing to the table. Oddly enough, this is going to be a very tangential podcast, I'm assuming, because this is how it's going. I have a twin sister who is straight and she drives a Subaru. Oh my God. That is happening. Anyway, let's talk soccer. Here's how this podcast is going to go down. I'm going to try to keep it to 15, 20 minutes tops. Just give you a little recap of the weekend and some things to look forward to. We're really in the height of some really good soccer, right? We got 1 week left of the National Women's Soccer League. If you don't have a team, jump in. Just pick one. It's so fun. So we're going to talk about that. And then we've got 3 upcoming games for U.S. Women's National Team, which is super fun. We've got some friendlies coming up, and we'll address that. And then I'm going to leave you with 2 really inspirational, awesome sports stories that I was locked into last week. And that's about it. And I'll just tell you another gentle reminder that there's so many amazing collegiate sports that are happening as we're winding up for more professional leagues to start. Like the hockey league our hockey league PWHL will start end of November. More professional volleyball leagues will start in January. Unrivaled, we've got a lot of more professional leagues starting very soon, but right now we're knee deep in soccer. So we're going to talk about soccer because there's some oh my God, some heartfelt stories that we need to talk about. All right. So we have 1 week left. And I'll tell you in a second about playoffs and some games to watch, but here's a story I really wanted to cover, because I was there yesterday. So for some of you and new people getting to know me, I live in Los Angeles, and I'm a season ticket holder to ACFC, Angel City Football Club. When there was a whisper of hey, there's going to be a team, called, plunked down some money, and I got season tickets. That was the end of 2021. So the season started for us in 2022. Listen, full disclosure, we haven't done well. Been a lot of disappointing seasons. This is our 4th season. We're not making the playoffs. We made the playoffs, I do believe, in 2023. So many player changes, coaching changes, administration changes. Don't love any of that as a fan. However, always have loved the players that are on the field, whatever combo they have. And a woman run primarily organization. So I'm always going to support it. The fans are fantastic. If you have a chance to go to BMO Stadium sometime next year while ACFC is playing, it's just really an incredible atmosphere for soccer. 22,000 fans, like, pack it in. It's really great. So anyway, if you don't have a team, maybe cheer for ACFC. God knows we need the support. But anyway, here's the story. About, I guess it started about a week and a half ago. We got three major player retirements. We've got Lauren Lou Barnes from the Seattle Reign. Get to her in a second. And then two of my beloved ACFC players, Christen Press and Allie Riley. And they retired officially. This was our last home game yesterday. So I'm at the game. And we had to say goodbye as a club to Christen Press and Allie Riley. So I just want to just spend a little bit of time celebrating them and Lou Barnes's career. These are three, like, honestly, pillars of the NWSL. They've been, in the league since day one, and to lose them all in a period of a couple of days is just brutal. And it reminds me, I sort of was like, okay, we've been here before. And this is the summer of 2022 when Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, and Serena Williams all retired, like in the same week. And I was outraged. I was so outraged because I was like, they can't do that. They can't do that to the fans. They cannot do that to the fans. Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, obviously WNBA basketball, like, legends. And then Serena Williams, obviously the GOAT, maybe of everything. Everything she does, you're like, she's the best at everything. And it sort of reminded me of that week when I went on a rampage and I was like, it felt like fan cruelty. Did they give up their entire professional lives for their sport and for the fans to enjoy? And I watched them drinking a beer from a lazy boy. Yes, fair enough. However, oh my God, can you not retire all in the same week? Just blows. It was just a blow to women's sports fandom. Well, that's what I felt like this past week, right? Lou Barnes, Christen Press, Allie Riley. Okay. So I just was like, I'm gonna give them all yellow cards. I'm gonna give them all multiple yellow cards, leading to a red card, leading to an ejection. That's a little sports punnage right there. But, like, just absolute heartbreak for fans. Let's start with Press and Riley. Now, a lot of you know Christen Press, obviously. Just let me just give you a couple credits. I'm sure you know her apart from ACFC. She played with Chicago. She played with Utah. Now LA. But you know her as this perennial powerhouse from the U.S. Women's National Team. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this: the most underutilized superstar ever in the national team pool. I think a lot of people will back me up on that. Every time Christen Press goes into a game, she scores or makes something happen. I've seen it, she's been injured, but I've seen it time and time again at ACFC up close. But again, I don't know that I know she, World Cup in 2015 and 2019 and Olympics in 2021, but I just felt like she never played enough. She never played enough in my, I think, popular opinion. 155 caps, 64 goals, 43 assists for the national team, played in Sweden, Manchester City, Chicago, Utah, LA. And what makes it extra special and also extra sad, ACFC's first ever signing in the spring of 2022. So we had already put, and I say we, like, the fans, the OG fans, we had already, like, put money down, right? Got the season tickets. We didn't get our seats yet, but, before this signing, right? So we were already committed. And then we get the news Christen Press is going to play for ACFC. She's coming back home. Mind you, she's a native of Los Angeles, right? Born and raised in LA. So it was just this, like, oh my God, like, incredible moment. And we got to see her. I mean, let's listen, 4 seasons. She probably played 2.5 because of injuries, which was just heartbreaking. And obviously was, a main motivator for her retirement. But yeah, just, they're from day one. She was like the face of the team. So anyway, so that was like obviously just a huge blow. And then we have Allie Riley. And if you don't know Allie Riley, if you're an NWSL fan, you know Allie Riley, but she also has New Zealand citizenship. Her father is from New Zealand, even though she grew up in Los Angeles. So her story is really incredible. She's played on 5 World Cups, represented New Zealand for 17 years, 150 plus caps, 5 World Cups. Scored, I do believe, for New Zealand in the Olympics last year. But if you don't know her, let me just tell you this. Her smile and her passion and just this infectious energy. She became our first captain. She was captain all 4 years. And you just locked into her. Like you couldn't take your eyes off of her. Just and then her teammates were like, she cries all the time. She gets super emotional. Now I'm getting emotional. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her. Did I not sleep last night and I cry easily? Yes. I might have had a couple cocktails. A friend of mine was visiting and I didn't sleep that well. But, I'm still going to get emotional. These two are just absolutely fantastic. But it was pretty incredible to have Christen Press as our first signing. And then Allie Riley, who's absolutely the heartbeat and the engine and the most feel good of all feel good ACFC players, retire yesterday. Anyway, I took a ton of video. I'll just tell you a little bit about the atmosphere. Most of the crowd stayed. Everybody was on their feet, crying, hugging. Julie Ehrman, she's our president, like CEO, founder of Angel City. She had to do back to back, like speaking in front of a crowd, super emotional. She had to hold it together. So they did Christen Press first. Crowd goes crazy. All of Christen Press's family, it's obviously right on the field, looking at one half of the stadium, like the player section of the let's say the fancy seats. Was I in them? You're goddamn right, I was. So Julie, I don't know how she held it together. I mean, she was cracking. Her voice was cracking. And she has to go through the whole Christen Press, and then Christen comes out, and Tobin was there, and their dog, and her nieces and nephews. I can't even tell you how feel good this was. Then Christen like addresses the crowd, and she's like fun LA woo woo, and she's like, I just wanted to leave with my like bare feet on the soil. She's like walking around barefoot. So, I mean, just so like go find her words on YouTube. I'll find it and link it to the bio or link it to the show notes. But just like gave this wonderful, inspirational. Couldn't believe she had the career that she had coming back to LA. I'm sobbing, literally sobbing. And then you have to recover from that. And then it's Allie Riley. And you're like, I can't even start because then her face is on the big screen. The crowd's like, Allie Riley, bump, 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 bump. She starts crying, just starts crying. Of course, then we're all like losing our minds. I can't even tell you. It was like, this doesn't happen in men's sports. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I mean, did I cry? Did I get emotional when like Derek Jeter retired? Yes. Am I still over it? No, I'm not. So obviously it does happen in men's sports, but not like this, not this like hugely emotional piece. Maybe because of, primarily there's women and it's women. I don't know. It just was, I just have to say hats off to ACFC and Julie Ehrman. They like did such a wonderful job celebrating them. They had tribute videos. Before Allie Riley came up to speak, her parents came up and spoke. And if you're not following Allie Riley, like follow her on social. She has like the BFF show with Sydney LaRue, which is super awesome and fun to watch. But she does all these dance videos with her parents. I mean, her parents spoke. They were just super fun and emotional. And then Claire Emsley, one of our favorite players who's Scottish, she is out. She's pregnant. Oh man, I always get a little bit annoyed when players get pregnant during the season, but that's okay. I'm sure she's happy. We're happy for her. Oh God, we miss her on the field. She spoke on behalf of Allie. I mean, the whole thing. I can't even tell you. It was just wonderful, but like, God damn it, what a loss. What a loss for ACFC and what a loss for soccer. Obviously, they're going to be staying involved. Kristen Tobin have their fantastic podcasts on for RE Inc. and And, Allie Riley, in my opinion, she's going to go on to, she'll probably own a team, run a team. She'll be around, obviously, because she's such a pro and so well spoken and so emotional and amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to talk you through that. It was really, really fun to be there. I felt so lucky to be there. And yeah, just sad, but end of an era, start of a new one. I just want to say this, ACFC fans and soccer fans, Alyssa Thompson, obviously, she's had call up after call up for the U.S. women's national team. We lost her to, like $1 million contract. Now she plays for Chelsea. What a loss for us. It's been a very difficult season to be an ACFC fan. She flew in for the ceremony and for their last game. I can't. I'll start crying again. Another, just want to shout out to Lou Barnes, who I came very close to getting on her lights, and I will have her on. It's just like when I was locking her in for her to do an episode, then her season started and then it took off. So even more to talk about when I connect with her. I met her again in Seattle when I was doing a panel for the 85ers. That podcast that I'm working on will be out in December. I'll talk to you through that at some point coming up. But anyway, she's just an absolute legend in soccer and for the community of Seattle. I just want to share this. She's the NWSL record holder, 251 career games, all with the Reign. She's played her entire career with the Reign. And I don't know if you remember this, but like it's Lou Barnes, Jess Fishlock, and Megan Rapinoe. That's like the holy grail of the Seattle Reign. Fishlock is still playing, although she just retired from Wales, her national team. I don't know if we're going to get. I would assume maybe we'll get one more year with her for the Reign. But Lou Barnes is just, I mean, she really is like the fabric of the Reign, the fabric of the community. Um, she said it's just the Reign. She's going to stick around with the Reign, have some sort of role on the Reign, which she should. It's just home for me. She said, I want to keep building on what we started, just like a class act, just amazing on the field and off the field. So anyway, just a huge congratulations to Lou Barnes, Ellie Riley, Christen Press for amazing NWSL careers. I just want to add one more. Kristen Hamilton from the KC Current also announced her retirement. The only reason why I'm not effusively going on about Kristen is like I just never really saw her play that much, but I know she hopefully will go out in style and win the whole thing with the KC Current. 11-year NWSL veteran, three-time league champion with Western New York Flash, North Carolina Courage. Announced that she'll retire the season's end. The journey always hasn't been easy, but it's always been worth it. Anyway, so just wanted to take a moment and say, like, just a huge congratulations to all four of those powerhouses. All right, just kind of wrapping up here. NWSL playoff picture. Ooh, it's getting exciting. Okay, Kansas City Current locked. They won the Shield. The Shield means number one in first place, best record of regular season. They have just been so dominant. And I'll tell you the teams that are locked in. We've got Kansas City's locked, Washington, Orlando, Seattle Reign, San Diego Wave, Portland Thorns. They just beat ACFC last night, and boy, they look good. Coffee with her short shorts, Moultrie. Portland's in it. Portland is in it. Gotham FC, all officially in. Leaves one spot up for grabs. Racing Louisville and the North Carolina Courage. Louisville with a win or a draw, they're in. And then North Carolina needs to win and then Louisville to lose. I'm cheering for Racing Louisville because they've never been in the playoffs before. I do believe. I probably have to fact check that, but I'm almost positive. North Carolina Courage, obviously perennial all-stars. They've won it multiple times. So anyway, those are my picks of what to watch this week. Racing Louisville will be going up against Bay FC. Now, Bay FC's out of it, so I think that's a good draw for Racing Louisville. They're playing Sunday, November 2nd, 5 o'clock Eastern. They'll be at home. So that's, I don't know, if you're a Louisville fan, I feel like that is just like chef's kiss. I think such a good setup for them. And then North Carolina, they're playing Gotham. Now, Gotham is very difficult. I'm assuming Gotham is going to play all their starters for like probably rankings and home field and all that. So that's a tougher draw for New York. I mean, for North Carolina. So both games, all of it. This is like decision Sunday. So all the games are usually typically played at the same time. So Sunday, November 2nd, 5 o'clock Eastern. I do believe all the games are probably going to be played then. But those two games, I would say, go back and forth, toggle back and forth because they have playoff implications. And then lastly, U.S. Women's National Team, when they have friendlies, I get so excited. Soccer fans get so excited. Also, listen, if you're sitting here and you're like, soccer's not my jam, just jump on board to these national team friendlies because they're super fun. Emma Hayes is a constant, like, new people coming into these camps. You'll learn about, I don't know, the history, Emma Hayes's infectious energy from the sidelines. I love it all. So here's two games to watch out for. National team plays Portugal this Thursday, and we always beat Portugal. Watch us lose. I hope not. This Thursday, October 23rd, 7 o'clock Eastern, in Chester, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly. And then Sunday, they play Portugal again, Sunday, October 26th, 1 p.m. or 4 p.m. Eastern, in East Hartford, where UConn plays. So if you're in Connecticut, Philly area, go to these games or watch them. I will link that in the show notes. Okay, winding out the show, two quick stories that you're going to be so inspired. These are like tied for feel good moment of the week. Listeners who listen to my old podcast, I kind of got rebranded into Her Lights. It was called Sports Without Balls. We'd always end with feel good moment of the week. So I'm going to probably bring back it from time to time. I don't know. I'll link these stories in the show notes so you can do deeper dives. But huge shout out to Natalie Grabow, the oldest woman to finish an Ironman World Championship. She's 80. You guys, her lighters. She is 80 years old. Did I get up slightly hungover and do two sets of stairs this morning after I read the story? I did because I felt like a sack of shit. I was like, get out of bed. An 80-year-old just completed an Ironman. An Ironman. That is a full marathon, swimming the X amount of miles, and then biking. I should have fact checked this, X amount of miles. I think it's like, a gazillion. Let's just say that. But it gets better. Let me just tell you this. I saw this interview with her, like so humble. First of all, she looks like she's 60. She looks amazing, of course, because she's 80 doing Ironmans. But she started when she was 59 years old. I think she was always athletic. She was a runner. She didn't know how to swim. Or let's say she didn't know how to swim like properly. I don't want to brag. I'm taking swim lessons at my gym. And you realize no one really knows how to swim properly. Like I did like two strokes, lifted up my head, like how everyone basically swims, unless you're a professional swimmer. But like then when you get like coached, like at the gym, again, I'm not comparing myself to Natalie Grabow, but then you realize it's like, oh, three strokes, and then you like have to lean your body up. Like it's technical, right? So she basically technically learned how to swim at 59 and then started doing triathlons at age 60. I mean, everybody, isn't that like the most amazing thing ever? Oh, I'm telling you, if I don't spring out of bed, I sprung out of bed this morning. Oh man, that was tough. But I was like, if Natalie can do it at age 80, I can get out of bed. So I just want to say, amazing. I mean, amazing. Congratulations to Natalie. Oh my God, 80 years old doing an Ironman. I thought that was just like the greatest thing ever. I mean, if I can't believe it. 59, she starts swimming. I love it so much. Anyway, so there's your amazing feel good story. Here's a tie coming right back up in the review mirror. Natalie, what's approaching you is another feel good story. U.S. women's sitting national volleyball team. Okay, Paralympic volleyball. Now, I don't know if you got into the Paralympics. It's now being televised more and more, and it comes right after the Olympics, and it's amazing. These women and men are like phenomenal athletes. Okay, they won the gold medal in the 2025. This just happened, right? And I didn't even know it was happening. So now I just have to get like obviously better informed when these Paralympic events are happening because I would have watched it, right? So they won the gold medal. They beat Brazil. It's a reverse sweep. Now, a reverse sweep means They lost the first 2 sets and then won the last 3 because professional volleyball, 3 out of 5. So they're down 2-0 to Brazil. Now, Brazil obviously is just our ultimate competitors in volleyball. Then they take the next 3 sets, 25-18, 25-20, 15-12, and they win the gold medal. The U.S. led the match in kills, blocks, after falling behind 0-2. Okay, and then I just reached out to this athlete, and I hope to have her on the show, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Emma Schiek, or I believe it's Emma Schiek. It's Schiek, and I'm going to link to her Instagram in the show notes. Named tournament MVP at 4 blocks, defensive momentum. Anyway, I wish I'd seen it. I'm going to go back and try to find it on YouTube. I just saw like clips of it. Anyway, just congratulations to Emma. God, I hope I didn't butcher your last name. And just a huge congratulations, Paralympic National Volleyball Champs gold medal. I love it. I love it so much. And you know what? That's our show. That's going to do it. I also, just a quick reminder, you've got collegiate volleyball, you've got collegiate field hockey, you've got collegiate soccer, you've got I don't know, so much more. So just dip into NCAA everything. You can find your sport. We've got national team games going up. We've got NWSL soccer games coming up. We got soccer. We got all of it. And then right around the corner, I'll keep you posted. Is this WNBA CBA going to happen? I feel like it's not. I feel like, oh boy, it's going to, if you're following the WNBA, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm hoping for the best. Also, just a huge shout out to Sarah Spain, Good Game at Sarah Spain. She's a daily women's sports podcast, and she's had a lot of a whole bunch of player union reps discussing collective bargaining agreements. It's been really informative. So if you want to nerd out on the legality and how everything happens, check out her show. Just check it out in general. It's fantastic. Okay, fans, friends, family, that is our show. This Thursday, CJ Silas will be on the show. Thursday, I do little longer form interviews, and she has her own show on ESPN radio, and she covered the Women's Professional Baseball League tryouts. That's like a League of Their Own 2.0. Just happened maybe, 6 weeks ago in Washington, D.C. She was there reporting on it, and she has some incredible inside stories to these tryouts and how feel good it was. Anyway, so that's this Thursday coming up. You can listen to the podcast and then watch your women's national team at night. So there you go. Stick around, a lot more content coming your way. And if you haven't subscribed, go on Apple iTunes, go on Spotify, rate, review, subscribe, leave me a message. I love reading all of them. And stick around this Thursday for CJ Silas on the next episode of Her Lights. Fans, friends, family, have the best week of your life.